Welcome to Banquette Breakdown.
I'm Jack.
I'm Sarah.
And we break down fictional relationships so you don't have to.
All right, welcome. Episode 3. Here we are again. Hey, Jack.
Hey, Sarah.
What's the sip today?
Ooh, I have something very exciting today. Water.
Oh my word, you're so lame.
I know.
You're drinking water out of a fancy cup?
Yes, out of a mug.
Out of a mug.
And it's not even hot
does
water.
that?
It's
Who
just
does that? It's
regular
just
room
water.
temperature water.
It's just water.
Woo.
I said, do you want ice? And she's like,
Nope.
just water.
See, but okay, the problem is your house is really hot right now.
I know.
And I'm dying. So I needed just water to drink because anything else...
Yeah, my house is really hot
wouldn't
right
do the
now.
trick.
I know.
What's yours today?
Oh, yes, thank you. I am back to the mango peach ginger ale. It's so good. You guys, go and get it. If you're in the States, I'm sorry, because I don't think they do ginger ale. I think they do
don't
have...
do ginger ale in the States?
Well, like, they have ginger ale, but not the Canada Dry. Like, Canada Dry, the brand...
yeah. That's right.
so
They're the ones who
good.
have all the, like, yummy flavors.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I did see somebody from the States that I follow that, like, they have the original, but I don't think you guys have...
Well, surprise, we're Canadian.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's a thing, you know.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Canadians over here, so
Yeah.
I don't know who this is going to reach, but you never know.
You never know.
We don't have high hopes, so.
If you're not Canadian, Canada Dry ginger ale
Yes.
is top tier.
Yeah.
And they have, like, a cranberry ginger ale.
Yes.
That just
And it
perfectly hits
only
the spot at
comes
Christmas.
out at Thanksgiving.
time,
So, like,
Thanksgiving, yeah.
Thanksgiving, Christmas time.
Yeah.
And then the new one for the summer as well, like last summer, they had the raspberry lemonade one.
That one was not my favorite.
Oh, I really liked it.
You liked it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I love
don't
it.
know. It was the combination of it just made me kind of go.
So good. And then, the blackberry one.
The blackberry
that
one
one's
is good. They haven't had that one in a while, though.
I know. I think at Costco you can do the 2-pack of, like, the cranberry and the blackberry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't tried that one yet, so
I
maybe
know.
that'll have to be my sip next
They
time.
only had these at, like, specialty stores in, like, a glass bottle, but then they just
okay.
released this week the cans.
Fancy.
And it's so good. I love it.
Wow.
Yeah. I know.
Fancy.
Yeah, well, that's what we're drinking today.
That's what we're drinking today. So, Sarah, what's on the podcast schedule for today?
Okay, I am so excited. I have been actually waiting because we were like planning out all the episodes and what we wanted to talk about, and I've been waiting for a week to be able to talk about this because we have so many thoughts.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking about Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
And we're going to be talking about all of the all of the trauma bonding that happens.
Yes. Hawkins, where all of the relationships are trauma bonded.
Yes, exactly. All of them. I don't care what you say. They are all trauma bonded.
Yes, seriously. Even the non-romantic relationships are trauma bonded.
100%.
Like, all these poor kids went through all of this stuff.
Oh my goodness. But we are huge Stranger Things fan. Like we are we are top-notch fans. Big fans. So we actually, I went over to your house and, this is, I guess, on New Year's Eve. So we watched the finale, which was like the end of Stranger Things. So it is now officially done. So if you're just getting into this episode and you have not seen the finale, like there's spoilers throughout this whole thing. So please like stop if you don't want to know the spoilers. But so we watched the finale together. Yeah. And we had a lot of thoughts. Yes. But obviously we want to mainly talk about like the relationships and stuff too. But how did you feel about the finale?
Okay, if I'm being honest, I feel like the finale was a bit of a letdown.
Yeah.
But I think most of season 5, in my opinion, was still really strong. I enjoyed where they were going, but I don't think the finale wrapped up enough stuff. Yeah. And I feel like this is, we were talking about this the other day because so many people thought that there was a secret episode coming out because there was so many loose ends. And I feel like if you're writing the closing season to a show, you need to make sure to wrap up the loose ends at least a little better. Like, it's probably impossible to do all of them. Yeah. But at the same time, if your fan base goes off and thinks that there's a secret episode coming out because of all the plot holes, then you probably didn't do a good enough job at wrapping up the show.
Yes. So honestly, I don't think that has ever happened with a show where people have like just blown up about this secret episode. Like everything on Instagram and Facebook, like it was just
all I saw for like 24
TikTok,
hours
all
was
of the
just
things. Yeah, I know.
Stranger Things conformity game
and then
theories.
yes, and then there were like what was funnier too was like some of the memes of like people saying the Duffer Brothers as they're looking at the internet, being like, "Wait, did you write another episode?" Like. Like they're like, wait a second, did we write another episode? I forget. Yeah, and then
everyone, let's get back into the studio. We're writing another episode.
I know, and yeah, like the internet went crazy. It
really
that.
did. Yeah.
And I feel like in general, the season was really shaped by the internet's feedback.
Yeah.
Because I feel like for season 4, like it really got a lot of traction.
Yeah.
And then like coming into season 5, because there was such a long wait as well, like there were so many opinions out there, so many theories.
Yeah.
Which probably, you know, made it seem then a lot more disappointing because of those theories.
Yeah.
But
well, and I think part of it was hard because I think a lot of the fan theories were coming from like D&D, right? But the Duffer Brothers admitted to not really knowing a whole lot about D&D. Like they're not super immersed in it. Like they got to know it better throughout the show, but
they're not huge.
It was mostly just like a game that the kids were playing at the start, right?
Interesting.
And then it became like a theme, right, throughout the course of the show. But yeah, I don't know if they're like that well versed in D&D knowledge. I'm not either, but
I'm not either. But like, have you seen the documentary then too?
I watched half of it.
Okay,
and then I almost fell asleep.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of getting bored, but also it was 10:30, and I was like, I'm not going to make it another hour. I have a toddler, so most of the time, okay, but this is funny because I'm usually a night owl.
I was gonna say 10:30 is early for you.
Yeah, it usually is. But last night I just was like. Or last night? Was it last night that I was watching this? Yes, it was.
I can't remember. I wasn't there.
You weren't there. Why am I asking you? No, last night I was watching this because I knew we were doing this today and I wanted to get caught up. But yeah, there was an hour left. It was 10:30 and I was
It was long, yeah.
Yeah. And there was not a lot of stuff going on.
I have to say, though, the second half is better.
So maybe we just missed the, the good stuff.
I mean, like, it wasn't, like, overall, it wasn't great. But I do remember the second half. I think I watched it in 2 halves, too.
Okay.
Because I started it way too late and then one night and then watched it the next day. But I think what got me, I mean, like, it was just okay. But, like, what got me was the table read.
We didn't make it there yet.
Yeah, and that's in the last half. And the table read for the last season, like, I think if anything, I can be very empathetic towards people and, like, totally see and feel what they're feeling about.
Yeah.
Like, they were so young when they started on this show, and I can feel that. Like, I can feel the emotion as they're talking about it.
Yeah.
And everybody's bawling their eyes out, and I was bawling my eyes out because I'm like, oh, like, we grew up with them too. Like, we grew up with these kids who are incredible actors. We've talked about that. Like, the acting was phenomenal from these kids.
Good. Yeah, even like straight away from season 1.
Yeah,
like,
season 1 to season 5,
good.
acting never stopped being bad. Yeah. It was the writing.
Well, and also I think like the casting for sure made a difference in that because they had so much chemistry together, but also just like such good acting.
Such good acting. Top tier. And I think that's what I saw watching them do the table read was I can see that they're not looking at it as like the episode. They're looking at it as, oh my goodness, this is now ending. Like, this experience is ending. Yeah. And I think for everybody, like, around the world, you know, that's been a huge thing is now it's done. Like, it's done. Officially over. Yeah. I really, really liked this show. Yeah. I really did. I do think that, like, I have my favorite. I think season 3 was my favorite. What was your favorite season?
I actually think season 4 was my favorite.
Okay, yeah.
And so background for me, I guess.
Yeah.
I watched the first 2 seasons as they were coming out with friends in college.
Yeah.
And then after that, I got married shortly after that, and my husband did not want to watch Stranger Things. And I tried getting him to watch Stranger Things. I think we watched the first season, but he was like not distracted, not paying attention, didn't really want to watch it. And then was like, no, I'm not into this show.
Yeah.
And wrote it off. And then very recently, this last season came out, and I was like, please, can we watch Stranger Things? I was like, I don't want to be the only one out of the loop here. It's the final season. Can we please watch Stranger Things? Yeah. So he finally said yes. We got through the first season. He's like, this show's so good. I was like, I know. Yes. I've been trying to get you to watch it forever. So we binged it. Yeah. And we watched basically season 1 to 4 in like 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah. Like it was you really guys quick. Powered through to finish in time.
Yeah. To then watch like we watched then the first half of season 5 because that had already been released, and then we made it just in time to watch the end of season 5 as they were coming out. But it was
I know.
It's a long road.
But I feel like that's, from what I'm hearing on social media and stuff, I think that was a lot of people was like just people were kind of writing it off or like not really grabbing the concept of the show until then season 4. And I think that just got a lot of traction just because of social media at that time and all of that. Like people were posting so much more about it. And you can see the storyline and the direction that it's going. Yeah. And so then so many people, I think, picked up on the show, but they had already released 4 seasons. Yeah. So, I think that was a lot of people.
Well, and actually, so when season 4 started, like, I'm not the biggest fan of, like, gore and stuff like that. Like, I kind of get freaked out by it. But when season 4 started, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch this. Because it takes a pretty dark turn,
they upped it, for sure, in season 4. Yeah.
But then as you go on and they start exploring like why these things are happening, it's so interesting. And I feel like I loved Eddie too. Like he was such a great character, and he's in season 4. Eddie. And some of the other character development in that season, like Sadie Sink's character, like Max, is so brilliant in that season. And I just feel like so many of those things really came to life for me in season 4. Yeah. And even Elle having moved away with the Byers, right? Yeah. Like that whole plot line is so interesting, and her being out in the real world and like clocking a girl in the head because she's mad at her high school, and like and doesn't know how to deal with all these emotions because she really hasn't had a chance to be a person right in the real world. It's so interesting, and I really loved the season. And then finding out that Vecna, spoiler alert, is actually one who like she
when
knew.
You see that in season 4 and it's just like, what the heck, like
I'm not convinced they had all that thought out.
I know.
Prior.
Yes.
But it was still really good.
I think,
really liked it.
I think there's, we're spoiled in some ways now where there have been so many really good movie series and TV series that have been so well thought out that then I think when you get to a show like this where you can see in the documentary that they're like writing as they go. Yeah. And they're kind of like piecing things together. And so I think there were definitely some holes, and I think the writing for me, like season 2 I didn't love a lot of, but like season 3, season 4 for sure, top series. But then season 5 I was disappointed with some stuff. Yeah. But other parts I loved. Like I was like, wow, this is so cool. Yeah. Like that whole scene in the house, like in the Wheeler's house, and like the mom and the daughter, and just like that was, it was so good. Like I am very desensitized to gore and to like thriller stuff, but like you just could feel the thrill of it, right? Like I loved it. And then, like, Will finding out he had powers. Like, that was so cool.
Like, the ending of episode 4 was so strong. So strong. It was so good. Like, both my husband and I sat there and we were like...
I know.
I was
like,
mind-blowing.
What the heck? I have a friend that she's also a huge fan of it. She loved season 5, too. Yeah. And her and I... Every time the episode come out, like her and I would be watching the episode but texting each other. So then we'd like start it at the same time or around the same time, or sometimes I'd be a little bit ahead and we're like, what? And then you're reading the text and you're like, oh no, like, but it was such a fun experience with her to like do that. But we're like, all of our texts were just like mind blown, like just like what the heck is happening? Yeah,
so funny.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. But anyways, with Stranger Things, there's a lot of trauma that goes on. Like, all of these characters, obviously, like, the town, this poor little town of Hawkins, they just get pulled through the ringer, for sure.
Totally.
But they, like, all of these relationships and stuff are coming from this experience. And I think that was my one thing with the ending was, like, they're just moving on. Like, what?
I know.
What's happening?
Yeah.
And
like, how do you just move on from
I
that,
know.
Right?
Yeah. It's like they've been through so much. How do you go through life? But let's talk about some of those relationships.
Okay. Actually, I had some thoughts because while you were talking about that scene in the Wheeler's house when the mom like finally protects Holly, it's interesting. Like that family dynamic is really interesting. First of all, because the dad's super distant, and Mrs. Wheeler, she has that whole thing with like Billy in season 2, where you're kind of like, what is happening? But then, like
her little fling with the pool boy,
and her relationship with Nancy and even with Will, like they just seem to not know anything about their kids' lives, right? And I feel like it's hard because the kids are hiding so much from her because they know all of this stuff. And I loved in season 5 when she finally understood what was happening. Yeah. She was so protective of her kids. She even, like, while she's in the hospital half dead, she, like, saves.
Oh my goodness. The laundry scene.
Yes, like, the laundry scene is epic.
Yes. And leave it to Karen to take out the laundry, right?
Like, wish they would have done something with her character, though, earlier because she was so cool in that moment where she, like, protects Holly. Like, I just couldn't believe that the dad, he like swings a golf club and is like telling it to get back. He gets taken out immediately and she like really injures the thing. Yeah. And it was, I love that moment. Yeah. But I also like feel bad for those kids because I feel like their parents are just so uninvolved in their lives.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
And it's very different compared to then Joyce. Yes. Who's like Joyce and Hopper, they're with it through the beginning. Yeah. And I think that's such an interesting writing choice to have that contrast because you have Joyce and Hopper who are with the kids, they understand what's happening, and then Karen who just like what's the dad's name? Like, does anybody know?
Does anyone know?
Yeah, but Mr. Wheeler. Mr. Wheeler, but like they're just like the Wheelers, they don't know anything that's going on. And so then it allows for the secrecy, but like, you know, the parents kind of become Joyce and Hopper. Like, they kind of become the mom and dad of the crew. Yes. And Steve with his, you know, chicken nuggets.
6 chicken nuggets.
Have you seen those memes
6 little nuggets.
of, like, him driving a car and 6 nuggets in the back? Like,
it's so funny.
Yeah, so funny. Anyways, but, like, yeah, I just think that there is some interesting dynamics. Yeah. Or different... unique writing choices that were made to show those dynamics.
Well, and I think it's interesting too, because I feel like parents in the 80s were just a little bit more distant, so they did portray that kind of well. But then with Joyce specifically, after season 1, she's like too involved. Yes. Almost. Oh my goodness. She gets to the point where she's so overprotective that she doesn't let Will do anything. And that's frustrating too.
That is, okay. Before we were going through our list of things that we wanted to talk about, and there was something that I had forgotten, and that was what it was. So thank you for bringing it back because
you're welcome.
That was what because I was like, what was it? There was something that came up, but yes, Joyce becomes so protective of Will, and like she's just so involved to the point where then. In season 5, I really got annoyed with her character because she wasn't really doing anything except for saying like, "Will, are you okay?" And like, I was just kind of annoyed by that because they could have made her into such a really strong character of like having been there from the beginning with the trauma. But I feel like for her, how she dealt with the trauma was she just wanted to stop it from happening and stop her her
rather
kid.
Than actually like do anything actively to protect her kids from that. Yeah.
She was more focused on that part instead of like the big picture.
Well, and then all of season 4 she's not even there, which is so strange too because she's been so overprotective and then all of a sudden she just up and leaves to go save Hopper from Russia, from the Russians.
Yes, her character like it just kind of felt strange and then same with Hopper too, like they had developed his character so much in season 4 but I felt like then we kind of went backwards with Joyce and Hopper because then in season 5
it was like season 2 all over again.
Yes, exactly, because Hopper was also doing the same thing with Elle, like their relationship is so interesting.
Well, and I think for him it almost makes more sense to me because he lost a daughter in the past. True. So I feel like to revert to that kind of like overprotective nature makes sense. But I think for Joyce, like at a certain point, like she just needed to trust that Will was going to be okay. Yeah. And also just like take a step back a little bit. Yeah. Because
she almost like threw herself into different situations that she didn't really have any right to be there. Like it's kind of like, okay, you could be doing something else, but she had to be with Will. Yeah. And like every single step of the way. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, but also Will, like, I think Will and his mom, because Will was so traumatized from so many of those events, like, I do think that kind of delayed, like, I think it delayed his maturity a little bit. If you look at some of the other characters like Dustin and Mike and Lucas, like, they all kind of broke apart, and like you could see their characters maturing even in season 3, especially in season 4. But I feel like for Will, like, because he had so much trauma, like, he was just so attached to his mom, which it totally makes sense.
His mom and his friends, because in season 3, like, they kind of show him wrestling with the friends having other relationships, right? Because Max and Lucas are together, Elle and Mike are together, and then even Dustin is hanging out with Steve a lot, right? So that changes that as well. And he doesn't deal with it well because he doesn't have any other friendships. Right?
And I think it kind of delayed his maturity a little bit, or like his character growth. But yeah, it's interesting.
And then season 5 takes a big leap, I think, where then he's like stepping into that role of like having powers and understanding what that means. And
it's a huge leap for sure compared to the other seasons. What about my favorite, my TV crush? I love it.
Steve
I'm
Harrington.
not even hiding it anymore.
Were you ever?
No.
That's true. Considering, again, when we watched it, you were like at him when he came on the screen in the back of his cap.
Steve is great, okay?
No, he is really great.
He's a really great character, really good to look at, especially in a cable knit sweater.
The cable knit. Oh my goodness.
But not a suit, as we talked about in the intro.
The suit was just a mistake.
That was ick. Like, can't.
So, like, that's the other thing. Steve had so much development, and then at the end, they just, like,
and then
make him, like,
nothing.
A coach, and he's wearing suits, and...
He's in, like, full dad mode. Like, it's just kind of funny. No, but I kind of want to talk about these dynamics with... Nancy and Steve and Nancy and Jonathan. I think one of the biggest things that people talked about from season 5 was this moment with Jonathan and Nancy. And I think everybody on the internet was like, wait a second, what just happened? So to break it down for you, in case you forgot, but also spoilers, Nancy and Jonathan, they end up in this room, and it's basically like flooding. And like, there's no way out. You think that they're gonna die. And then Jonathan pulls out this ring that we've seen that he's been holding, and he's like, and he has this whole long monologue and speech. And he's like, Nancy Wheeler, will you not marry me? And she's like, yes. And everybody's like, what the heck is going on? But this kind of stemmed, like, from that. You can just see that, like, there is so much, and Nancy even actually says, like, we have bonded through our trauma that we experienced together. And that's kind of why then they both come to this realization that their relationship needs to end.
Well, and it's interesting because their relationship actually starts because of that same reason. Where they're at that, what's his name?
Oh my goodness, it starts with Murray. An M. Murray, yes.
They're at Murray's house.
Yes.
Staying there. And he's like, trauma bonding is like the most powerful thing in a relationship. And so then they like dive into this relationship. And it's actually what ends up kind of tearing them apart in the end because it's too much. And that's all they can think of.
They just can't. And they experienced so much together, but then also so much apart. Because there were a lot of scenes that they weren't together in. And Jonathan was kind of moping around. And
well, in all of season 4, he's just getting stoned.
I know. Like, oh my goodness, Jonathan. But like, I just think it was so interesting because that whole scene really brought out a lot of feelings for people. But I think it kind of makes everybody realize everybody is trauma bonded in this thing.
For them, I feel like because of the trauma they had been through together with the Demogorgons hunting them, like Barb dying in season 1.
Right.
I think that they bonded through this experience, but it was so scary that then like it was re-triggered every time they were in situations where they were then like fighting the Demogorgons and stuff like this, right? Because they just had this shared trauma. And it made their relationship... It's not to say that this always creates unstable relationships, but I think their relationship being built on that trauma that ended up being one of the only things they had in common.
Yeah, yeah.
And
because you saw them at different points in the seasons trying to live normal life.
Yeah.
Like, especially in season 4, like, well, no, in season 3, I guess it was. Yeah. Like, they're both working and, like, trying to live a normal life, but they really can't.
Well, and I think that's the problem sometimes with, like, trauma-bonded relationships, especially romantic ones. I think friendships, it works a little differently, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
I think with romantic relationships, at the base of what you're building the relationship on top of is trauma, then eventually, if you work through that trauma, like, the whole relationship's going to fall through. Or if you're re-traumatized, then it's going to fall through, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just an unstable foundation. Yeah. It's not something that's reliable. It's not something that's really going to, like, take you through life.
I know. Yeah. You know? It gets complicated. It gets tricky.
And there's roadblocks that come up. If you aren't able to kind of, like, work through some of those things and simultaneously build the relationship off of something else. Yeah. Right? Like a friendship or Yeah.
It's tricky. And I think that scene, it was complicated for people, but, like, it really did make sense. Like, I think it was necessary because as soon as I saw the ring, I was like, what? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you just know it doesn't make sense. Yeah. For sure.
And I think that scene just helped open people's eyes to the fact that, like, every time they were seeing each other, they were being re-traumatized, essentially. Yeah. Right? And that's the risk you run if your relationships are based on trauma. Yeah. Right? And some of those other friendships in the show existed and formed outside of the traumatic events, but then the trauma made them stronger. And I think that's one of the key differences too. Yeah. Is that trauma, like shared trauma, can make a relationship stronger. Yeah. But if that's what your relationship is based on, that's kind of a red flag.
Yeah. Well, and I think a good contrast to that is Max and Lucas. Yes. Because what's so interesting is then in the very last episode, you're seeing then Max and Lucas get together finally after her being in a coma and all of this, and somehow she's able to graduate. But anyways,
that's interesting.
But you see that they're still together, and I think that their relationship is so unique to that, where it's like, oh, okay, they were able to overcome it. Yeah. Even though they had all those experiences
I think it's
together.
Partially because it was built off of more than the trauma, right?
Like, it was more friendship
all
first.
of season 2, they were building that friendship, right? Yeah. And even a bit of romantic interest as well. And then season 3, even more so. I mean, they're kind of off and on in season 3, but
there's trauma mixed in there, though, like, which is interesting because like, even in season 2, you know, they're slowly bringing in Max into what's happening. Yeah. But I think in some ways, though, Max has so much trauma beyond that from her family dynamics.
And probably, honestly, worse trauma than stuff with the
organs. Exactly, which is kind of sad.
It's like, very sad.
When you're,
it's very sad.
Oh, man. She went through so many things, and even with, like, Billy and then her stepdad. Yeah. And so I wonder if part of that was, like, because she's had so much trauma, this is nothing. This is just friends hanging out with friends, and so then her and Lucas
actually
were
someone
able to
share that trauma with probably made a difference for her as well.
Yeah, because she didn't have friends or a relationship in that
time.
And
even like her stepbrother Billy, right? Like their shared trauma was very different, and they experienced it very differently. Yeah, and so like that wasn't a relationship that was safe for her to then go and express anything that was happening. Whereas with these friends, she could talk about it. Like with Elle. With all of the guys, like, she was actually able to talk through their experiences, even though they were hard, right? And traumatic. Yeah.
It's an interesting contrast, for sure, because you see that relationship strengthen, and then Nancy and Jonathan, not so much. Yeah. And, but, like, Nancy is an interesting character, too, because I think it's funny that, like, her and Steve... Like, you think back to season 1, like, and, like, Steve, you know, changed too, but I think you can see her character growth so much in the show, because she starts out as, like, this really good student, and then, she likes this boy that's, like, the best-looking guy, the bad guy, kind of, or whatever, Steve the hair, you know, and, like, and, you know, she's just living life, and that's before everything changes. Yeah. And then you see how much she grows into, like, this really strong, independent, like, career-driven, but also, like, protective person.
Just like a powerful female character.
Yeah. And then you can kind of see how, like, it makes sense why she shouldn't be in a relationship with those guys.
Yeah. Well, and actually, okay, so this is something that I was thinking about too, is with Steve.
Yeah.
Part of me wonders if he's so hung up on Nancy because that was his last relationship prior to all of the trauma.
Yeah.
And so he's romanticizing the relationship he had with Nancy.
Yeah.
Because it existed outside of all of the other stuff.
Yeah. And it's kind of like you want to go back. Yeah. Like you want to go back to how things were.
He wants to have 6 little nuggets with Nancy because he just pictures this life outside of all of the stuff that happened in Hawkins.
Yeah. Which is interesting for him because I feel like for his trauma, like he's almost still like kind of feeding into that in some ways because when you see him at the end he hasn't really changed, and I wonder if it's because like he stayed in Hawkins, like everybody else left,
kind of branched out,
and so I wonder what would have happened if he would have chosen to then leave instead of staying there, like if he could have had more growth and all of that, but you know.
Okay, and speaking of Steve, I think we need to mention some of the friendships in this show, especially like the platonic friendship between Steve and Robin.
100%. I love it.
And then, like, the friendship that forms with Steve and Dustin.
So good.
Yeah, we need to...
Yeah, let's talk about those. Steve and Dustin first, maybe, because that, I think, comes first, right? End of season 2?
Yeah, end of season 2.
A little bit? Yeah. Because something happens and Dustin... Is that the season where Dustin is out at camp, or is that season 3?
Nope, that's season 3.
Okay.
So season 2, Dustin has that little pet that turns into the Demodog.
Yes.
And he ends up, like, picking up Steve the one day and is like, grab your bat and come with me, right?
Because they need to deal with it.
Because he goes to Nancy's house to bring her flowers.
Yes.
To try and, like...
That's right.
Yeah, and then Dustin's just like, here, she's not here, get in the car with me, we have a mission.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to track down the Demodog because he let it out.
Oh, Dustin. Dustin's so great too, though.
He's
so this relationship is so fun because I feel like at that point, like Steve is just annoyed with all the kids. Like he's just focused on Nancy, getting Nancy back, and he's like trying to figure that out. And all of these kids are running around just annoying him. Yeah.
And then Dustin comes along and they actually form a genuine friendship.
They really do.
Yeah.
And but that's also developed out of trauma. Like, they're experiencing this thing together. Yeah. But then they kind of form this friendship. And I feel like you really see it get strong. And I remember I was watching some of the last season with my family. And I think it was my mom. My mom was like, why is Dustin so mad at Steve? But it was like, you could just tell Dustin didn't know how to share his feelings with Steve. Well, and I think that's interesting. Like, they didn't ever really share feelings, but they were just such good buds, you know, like had this good friendship.
I think it's interesting because in season 4, you see Dustin hang out with Eddie a lot.
Yes.
And there's a little bit of like almost jealousy between like Eddie and Steve. Yeah. And because Dustin's really good friends with both of them.
Yes.
But I think Steve seeing that and is kind of a little jealous because Dustin's spending so much time with Eddie. But then at the end of season 4, big spoiler, Eddie dies.
So sad.
And it's really sad, and Dustin's the only one there to witness it. And he's very torn up about it. So going into season 5, he's like distraught. And I think from a trauma standpoint, I think he pulls away from their relationship with Steve for several reasons because he doesn't know how to express what he's going through. He just lost a good friend, and I think he's afraid of getting close to Steve again for the sake of losing him. Yeah. I think he's afraid of...
Because he knows that, okay, this fight is not over. I could lose Steve.
I could lose Steve as well. And then there's that beautiful, gut-wrenching moment in season 5 in the stairwell of the upside-down Hawkins lab where Steve is trying to, like, go get Nancy and Jonathan because they might be dying. They don't know what's happening. And he goes to grab a ladder, but everything's unstable and it's melting away. And Dustin just starts, like, crying, saying, like, no, I can't lose you too. I can't lose you too. And I bawled when I watched that part. It, like, tore my heart out. But it was that moment where he finally felt like he could share his feelings and say, like, no, I'm afraid to lose you, too. Yeah. Like, I can't lose you. Yeah. And that's what brings them kind of back together at the end is, like, this really powerful moment where Steve finally understands, like, this is why he's been so off. This is why,
that moment. And I feel like it's so sad, like, you see that happen so much in real life too, which I think is why people connect with it. Yeah. But people push people away because they're scared of losing them. Yeah. Which is so funny that we tend to do the opposite of what we need to do, right? Yeah.
But I think that's the bad thing about fear, is that it just drives you away from the things you actually want. Yeah. I think.
Yeah. Which is a huge, theme overall, is like this fear of losing people, right? Like, Hopper is so scared he's going to lose Elle. Yeah. Joyce is so scared she's going to lose Will.
And that comes up to the characters who have lost someone.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Joyce loses Bob in season 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopper loses his daughter prior to the show even starting.
Dustin loses
Eddie, right? So you see that theme in these characters who have already lost someone. Yeah. You even see it in Mike maybe a little bit, because he thinks he loses 11.
Yes.
A couple times.
Yeah. A few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting, those relationships. What about Elle and Mike? Like, speaking of them, because they go through some interesting things where Mike thinks that he loses Elle so many times. Like, they're saying goodbye a lot throughout the 5 seasons. Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of their relationship. Yeah. I feel like it starts in a weird place because he just, like, sees her in the woods. Yeah. And I think he's immediately kind of taken with her. But I don't know. It's not one of those relationships that to me stands out so much, because I think it is just largely based in, like, the fact that she's kind of such an unknown, she's an anomaly, right? Yeah. And he's kind of just, like, infatuated with her. Yeah. But he's one of the first people to show her kindness too. Yeah. So I think it's complicated.
It is complicated. It's kind of weird because I feel like it doesn't turn romantic until season 3, even though
there's a little bit of it.
There is a little bit,
but
it's not really until season 3. But like, anyways, their dynamic is interesting. Their dynamic is so strange. I think throughout,
strange,
very strange for Stranger Things. Yeah. Even the dynamics with the kids and the teens. Yeah. Like, just in general, like those friendship groups, like they kind of split them up a little bit. Of like, the teens being Jonathan and Steve reluctantly together, and Nancy and Robin as well, like that kind of group, and then the kids, and you kind of have those different groups and stuff. Like, it's interesting to see the friendship dynamics, and not everybody likes each other, but again, because of this trauma, they have to do these things to get through it. Yeah. It's interesting.
Okay, so I think also, before we wrap up, we have to talk about Steve and Robin.
Yes, we almost forgot about that.
But I think we need to talk about it because it's interesting because, like, Steve is in close quarters with Robin in season 3 for a lot of it, and kind of falls for her a little bit. Yeah. Thinking like, at the start he's like, she's not my type at all.
Yeah. But they're so different.
But then they go through a shared trauma.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, he's like, I'm into this. Yeah. And then she tells him, in confidence, at the kind of close to the end of the season, that she is a lesbian. Yeah. And not into him at all. Yeah. And it's the first person
she's ever told.
Told. And it's a really big moment.
It is.
But it's this really beautiful moment where all of a sudden, for Steve, it kind of just, like, takes all the romantic pressure off. And he's like, okay. Yeah. And I think the way he responds is really impactful for her. I think so too. Yeah. And her character development over the course of the show as well. Yeah. And the friendship that spawns out of that is so great. Yeah. Between the two of them.
Love that moment because I feel like it's also a huge moment for Steve too. Yeah. Like, his character, because you can tell that he's, like, just so obsessed with girls. And he's, like, working this job where he has to wear this dorky outfit. Yeah. And, like, he's, like, trying to ask out every girl that comes to get ice cream. Like, he's... he's just, like... He's such a typical, like, jock or whatever. Anyways. But he's so funny. And he's... I don't think that he realizes that he could have that kind of a relationship, like a friends only relationship. Like, I think his mindset is kind of like every single girl that he's with is a potential person, right?
And anyone he's around, he kind of ends up interested in.
Yes. It's interesting because I don't even know if Steve thinks that his feelings like, I don't even think he understands his feelings.
Yeah.
I think that what he's feeling towards Robin is actually just a friendship.
Yeah.
But the only way that he knows how to communicate it is, oh, I like you. Yeah. And as like a romantic relationship.
Yeah.
But I think as soon as Robin says, no, actually, I'm a lesbian, I'm interested in women, I think then he's realizing, oh, maybe I do just want to be friends with her. Yeah. Like, it's worth it to still be friends with her. Yeah. And that's such an interesting
even if I don't
choice. Yeah.
Like, even if there's no romance here, I still want this friendship.
It's still worth it. And I think for him, he had never thought of that occurring before.
That wasn't like a possibility almost. Yeah.
So it's such a great scene because then you can tell that, like, Robin does like hanging out with Steve as well. And she's enjoying the friendship too. Yeah. And I think for her, it's always just friends. Yeah. And then as soon as he's, you know, expressing these feelings, she's like, oh no. Yeah. But then she's like, I have to tell him. And I think that moment is such a special moment between them of like, she's sharing this like in confidence, this thing that's really big for her. And how he responds is just so great because he's like, I still want to be friends. Yeah,
and then they're like running joke with Tammy when they see her singing at the one. Yeah, like it's so funny.
I know, and then it just develops so much more in season 4. Like I really like that dynamic of them being friends, and I think in some ways because there is some jealousy from Nancy that comes in season 4. Yeah. Right? Yeah. About, or is that in season 3?
No, I think it's season 4.
Okay, yes, season 4.
Him with Robin.
Yes, and she's seeing that dynamic. But I think actually what it is Nancy realizing, I didn't have that relationship with him when we were together. So who is this Steve? Like, who is this person?
Yeah. He seems different.
Yeah. And not that she is interested in him again. I don't think that was the thing.
I think it was just misconstrued in her mind. Yes. Where she was thinking it was romantic feelings again, but it was really just this realization that he's different. The same person that she dated. Yeah.
And that happens. Like, people change. But, that relationship was so great to see.
And that relationship also kind of allows Robin to walk alongside Will in season 5 as well in a really beautiful way where she's, like, telling someone was such an impactful moment for me. And was able to kind of like see some of the things in Will and like be there for him even when he wasn't quite ready to talk about it with other people, right?
Because she knew that she could be 100% completely herself with Steve. Yes. And I think she then went into this relationship with Will, seeing the signs, seeing, okay, I went through that, and then being able to come alongside him and be like, I can be that person for you. You can be 100% yourself with me. Because I think at that point, like, you know, they're having those conversations and Will is still kind of in the background. Like, he's not able to fully be himself. Yeah. So, it's really sweet to see that is able to happen with Will and Robin and that little friendship that they have in season 5.
Well, and even the fact that, like, then Robin telling Steve is such a positive experience for her. Like, that doesn't always happen. No. First of all. Yeah. But, yeah, it's a really beautiful moment.
It is. Yeah. Overall, like, Stranger Things is just such a great show.
Highly recommend.
I really do think that the character development and the character writing was just so well done.
It was so good.
The story needed some work, but
there was definitely some loose ends.
There were some things. There were some holes that we went into.
Yeah, like where were the Demogorgons in the
abyss? But, yes. Man. Yeah. Anyways, that's for another podcast. But I think overall, Hawkins is definitely the most trauma bonded place.
Oh yeah. And I think
don't go there
as a whole. Don't go there. Thankfully, it's not a real place. Yeah. But as a whole, I think that's probably the show with the most trauma bonded characters of all time.
I think so.
If it was like a rating scale, like they'd be like,
because so many other shows don't really go into the characters that much. Yeah. But this one does, and there's many different.
I think that's why it's so well loved too, is because the depth to the characters is so significant.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, anyways, that concludes our episode for today. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Well, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode.
Please like, share, and subscribe, and feel free to leave us a review.
Share your comments on today's episode.
And join us next time for another episode of Banquette Breakdown.